Welcome to lecture number 3 of Automated Data Analysis using AI and Excel macros for sustainable research. Here we will continue with Excel basics and capabilities, part 3. In this lecture, we will look at Excel functions and charts. Let's start with Excel functions. In a previous lecture, we had looked at operators to perform basic mathematical comparison and text operations. Excel functions are much more capable. They are best for large, multi-step, or complex operations. They are automated algorithms designed to save you time from writing long, repetitive calculations. Functions are typically built in Excel, but could also be user-defined. Now let's look at the Excel function syntax. Every function or formula in Excel must begin with an equal sign. It tells Excel to calculate the data rather than treating it as a plain text. Every function has a name. Function names closely represent their operation. For example, the sum function calculates the sum. The average function calculates the average. Every function name is followed by parentheses. Most functions require arguments inside these parentheses. Arguments are basically the inputs the function needs to perform calculations. They can be numbers, text, cell, references, or even other functions. For example, the type function we have used before in one of the previous lectures is equal type A4. The argument here is the data type located in cell A4. Now you can access these functions at multiple locations. One location is the Formula tab on the Excel ribbon. From here, you could click the Insert Function tool and search for the function you like. For example, if you want to find any logarithmic function, type logarithm. You can see multiple options here. Select the option that you prefer. For example, log10. The function descriptions are shown below. You could also select the function from the drop-down menu. There are different categories like financial, date and time, math and trigonometry, statistical, etc. You can select a category and then browse through the functions and read the descriptions to select your required function. For example, let's select the power function and click OK. This function has two arguments, the number and the power that this number has to be raised to. Let's put some inputs in this function and click OK. You can see the result in the cell. If you select the cell, you can see that in the formula bar, there is the equation for the power function formula. So now we have successfully used a function. Instead of using the Insert Function tool, you could also use these functions directly from the menu here. There are several different categories and over 500 built-in Excel functions. Select the category that you are interested in. Another way, or the most common way to use functions, is to click on a cell and type equal to sign, and then start typing the name of the function as you remember it. You will see several options popping up. Select the right option. You will see some guidance on the syntax of the function as you type. Use this guidance to correctly input the function. For example, with the sum function, we can see that it needs multiple arguments, and the arguments should be separated by commas. So you can input it in that correct manner. As part of the course materials, you will be provided with an Excel file with a compilation of different categories of functions with their examples. The most important and frequently used functions will be highlighted. So that's all about functions. Now let's look at charts. Excel charts are visual representations of worksheet data. They transform raw numbers into pictures, to make patterns, trends, and comparisons easy to see. You can find charts under the Insert tab on the Excel ribbon. There are about 17 main types of charts. However, only about 5 types are used majority of the time. All charts primarily fall into 3 categories based on whether their axis process data as categorical, numerical, or a combination of both. Column, line, and bar charts are best used to represent categorical data. Scatter chart is the best for numerical data. Combo charts are the best when you have mixed data types. If you are unsure of the chart type that needs to be used for your data, you can select the recommended charts option after selecting the data. Typically, the top 2 options recommended would be ideal for the data set selected. In this case, the recommended chart is the bar chart. This makes sense because the data on one of the axes is categorical. Once you select the chart type, click OK and you will be able to create the chart. If you want to change the chart type, you can select Change Chart Type and then select the required chart type. You can select the required chart type from the Recommended Charts option or from the All Charts option. Now let's select the column chart option and convert it to a column chart. Now how about we convert this to a line chart? This works too. How about we try the scatter plot option now? Now there seems to be a problem. The category values are missing and they have been replaced by numerical data because this chart is for numerical data. So this is the wrong chart to use for this type of data. Now let's look at scatter plots. For the selected numerical data, the recommended chart is the scatter plot. If you want to add titles to your X and Y axis of this chart, you have to click Chart Design and add chart element, axis titles, and select horizontal axis and input an axis title name. You can do the same for the other axis, the vertical axis. Now let's create a combo chart using multiple categorical data. In this case, the category is the day column. So select the data and click Recommended Charts. The first recommended option is not correct. It's treating the days category as numbers. So let's pick the second option. It's suggesting column charts for both the data sets. We have the option to change the chart types by selecting the chart design. So if we want to change one of the charts to a line chart, we can simply select it over here. Alright, have you noticed that both the charts are using the same y-axis? This means one of the data sets, basically the temperature data set, does not have enough resolution. What we can do in this case is move one data set to a secondary axis. For this, let's select Chart Design again and select the temperature data axis to be the secondary axis. Now you can independently control the resolutions of both y-axis. Alright, so that's all about the basics of Excel charts in this lecture. See you in the next lecture.